everybody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 149th Street at the bench.
Today we're checking out the top 10 best graffiti throwies voted on by you guys. Now, today's video is actually a follow-up to a different video we did, where we featured plenty more amazing graffiti artists. So if you want to check that out, it'll be right up here for you in the cards. Now, to kick this list off, we have Vane, one of my favorite throwies in today's video. I love how sharp and round their letters are. They kind of balance both of those features really, really well. Not to mention the fact they're working with plenty very difficult letters for a lot of people. A lot of people struggle with the letter V, they struggle with the letter Y, and they struggle with putting letters next to both of those letters. And it's something that Vane handles exceptionally well. And in my book, that gives him a lot of props. Not only that, if we were putting this list in a particular order based on skill level, he would be at the top, if not really close to it, just because of those features. At number 9, we have somebody who's here on YouTube, Ghost EA. Now, I gotta be honest, I don't watch a lot of YouTube as far as art is concerned and graffiti, so to be honest, I wasn't familiar with how dope his throwy is. This is a sick throwy, man. I was more familiar with the straight letters and the stuff that he does like that, but this might be the first time, if not one of the first times I'm seeing this. But I love the way he handles the positioning of his letters, especially the O, where he raised it above all the others, and has the H and the S kind of hold the O up. Not to mention the fact he opted for a lowercase h, which weirdly enough is not something I see too much of, yet it is the easier of the two H's, and in my opinion, it's also the cooler of the two H's. I've always known he had dope work, but this definitely solidifies it. This is a really nice one. Now dudes, if you want to learn graffiti's general fundamentals that apply to hand styles, throwies, and pieces, check out the book we recently came out with in the description down below. It's the only book on the market that covers all of graffiti's fundamentals, and whether you're trying to get out of the toy phase or you're trying to improve your graffiti, this book is definitely going to help you, and it's going to help you find your style as well, so pick it up in the description down below. Moving on to number 8, we have Wire. One of my favorite things about throwies in general is when you have letters that are super clean, crisp, and they're pretty simple, right? Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Well, don't get me wrong, those can also be really dope. Something about crisp, clean letters just does it for me. In the last video, we showed a few different throwies that have simple letters, kind of like what Wire has here, but they have a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of pop and drama to the actual letter itself. And we're seeing a lot of that here, and I love it. Yeah, sure, the W is nice and simple, so is the I, but they fit in nicely with the R and the E, both of which have little hints of style here and there that help bring things to life. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, we have Pemix. I hope I'm saying that right, I may not be, but regardless, they got a really dope throwy. I mean, just look at this thing. For being as small of a throwy as it is, it's jam-packed with style, and I love it. This also goes right back to one of those topics that we talked about previously with having a really iconic throwy, something that can be seen at a glance and immediately recognizable. That is really when you get the most bang for your buck for a throwy. I can't tell you how many times, you know, and I'm sure you guys can relate, where you've been on the highway and you're trying to look at throwies, but some of them just have too much going on and you're not able to actually see who it is, and they don't get up enough for you to already know who it is just at a glance. This, even if you don't know who it is, it's bound to leave an impression, and that's awesome. That right there is one of my favorite throwies on this list. At number 6, we got Flizer, is how I think that's pronounced, and they have a really funky throwy here. Another person who's also messing with some pretty difficult letters, and we get to see how they handle the letter F, one letter that gives a lot of people a lot of trouble, and they came up with a pretty unique solution for it. I love the idea of taking that lower half of the F and bending it downwards towards the front of the F. I think that was a brilliant solution, and the other letters themselves are just well done and clean. What more can you ask for out of a throwy? At number 5, we have Suffer. Pretty standard letters here in this throwy, but it's how they use them that really makes this something special. Also, a great example of how somebody else handles the letter F as well, which I think is good to see that kind of comparison. One thing that really stands out to me with this throwy is how they take different shapes and incorporate them and make them feel more cohesive with one another. So they have a lot of rounded shapes for the letters, but they also incorporate some of those more wavy lines that you might see on the top of the F or the bottom of the R. Overall, Suffer's got himself a really nice throwy. I love this one. At number 4, we have somebody that's no surprise at all, and that's Rhyme. You know Rhyme had to be on one of these lists. Like, the guy's got way too unique of a style, not to mention the fact he does so many different styles to where it's hard not to put him on a list like this. I know some graffiti artists will credit themselves as being a master of style, but Rhyme truly is an actual master of style, and his work just speaks for itself. Like, you don't have to take my word for it, just look at these different styles of throwies that he's got. It's no secret, really amazing stuff. And another guy who's absolutely no surprise on this list is Mike Giant. He's another one that just has to be on this list. A list like this is not complete without Mike Giant. One of the cleanest throwies in the game, hands down, period. Really just the cleanest of throwies. At number 2, we have Mears. Yet again, I mean, not a surprise to see Mears on this one. Now, this one actually is a little personal for me, and I'm glad somebody recommended him, because I remember when I used to work at the shop, Mears came to one of the events that we were having because he was friends with Demer, and I remember seeing this dude do his throwy upside down and backwards. I still to this day have not seen somebody do their throwy throwy upside down and also backwards. The muscle memory on that is ridiculous. Amazing. I mean, Mears deserves a spot on this list for sure. Then we move on over to Shetu. I'm not sure if I'm saying that proper. My apologies, because he is also from Jersey. But this guy, well, what I really love about his throwy is the fact that he gets down with a very unique style. Something that you don't really see much of anywhere. He's got a throwy that has a beautiful mixture of sharp and rounded edges, and he makes it flow so well. But aside from that, what I really like about their throwy is the consistency. They don't have a simplistic, easy, run-of-the-mill throwy here. They're doing something a little bit more technical, a little bit more unique, and yet it comes out crisp and clean and exactly how they want it to come out just about every single time. That in and of itself is really impressive. Lastly, we got Resk. Resk has a bunch of different throwies, and I feel personally when you have somebody who's capable of doing multiple styles, that really says something about the artist. Now, I'll be honest, some of these I like a lot more than some of the other ones, because check this one out for example. What an incredible throwy. This is beautiful. This is gorgeously done. Something like this is top-notch, hands down. Now, if you guys watch this video and you didn't see your favorite graffiti artists on here, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And if you guys want to learn more about throwies, check out this video right here. Or if you're looking to just learn about graffiti's fundamentals in general, then check out this playlist right up here. It covers each one of graffiti's basics, and it'll put you on the right path. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys back here next week.